It's yet another historic day for Nepali cricket as Team Nepal have qualified for the T20 World Cup 2024 to be jointly hosted by the US and West Indies next year. Nepali cricket has achieved the glory for the second time in their cricketing history as they had also featured in the 2014 T20 World Cup. The young and talented bunch of Nepali cricketers have caught the worldwide media attention in recent time. Come June 2024, it would provide a good opportunity for Team Nepal to prove their caliber and justify all the praises by showcasing their talent in the playing field. Good evening, I'm Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. Nepal rewrites cricketing history as they qualify for the T20 World Cup 2024. Nepal and Oman to contest the T20 World Cup Asia Region Qualifier final on Sunday. A day after the Supreme Court revokes presidential pardon on Regal, Bharti Sherpa says the top court verdict has given her additional courage to wage a battle against injustice. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken lands in Tel Aviv to push for humanitarian pauses in the Gaza. Calls on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the war cabinet. And Afghanistan dominate the match against the Netherlands in today's World Cup encounter. 4 of the Netherlands batters get run out as the Dutch side bowled out for 179 runs. Team Nepal have qualified for the T20 World Cup for the second time in their cricketing history. Nepal crushed the challenge of UAE by 8 wickets in the second semi-final today to ensure their berth in the T20 World Cup 2024 to be jointly hosted by the US and West Indies. In the match played at Mulpani Upper Ground, UAE, after electing to bat first, could only post a below-par total of 134 runs for the loss of 9 wickets. UAE began on an explosive note with their hard-hitting skipper Mohammad Wasim scoring a brisk 26 runs. However, the fall of Wasim triggered a batting collapse as they were limited to 134 runs after 20 overs. Ritya Arvind top-scored for UAE with a well-compiled 64 runs. However, they lost wickets at regular interval as the innings could not get the desired momentum it needed to challenge Nepal. Kushal Malla was the most successful bowler for Nepal with 3 wickets, while Sandeep Lamichhane claimed 2 wickets for Nepal. Chasing 135 runs for victory, Nepal began well with openers Kushal Bhutel and Asif Sheikh. Although Bhutel departed for 11 runs, Sheikh went on to score 64 runs, remaining unbeaten at the end. Gulshan Jha, who was sent in as a one-down bat, scored 22 runs, while skipper Rohit Paudel remained unbeaten on 34 runs. Paudel and Sheikh guided Nepal to a comfortable victory, nothing up the required runs in 17.1 overs. In the other semi-final, Oman crushed Bahrain by 10 wickets to book a place in the final and also guarantee themselves a World Cup ticket. The final of the tournament is slated for Sunday at TU Cricket Ground. Bharti Sherpa has said that the Supreme Court's decision to revoke the presidential pardon granted to Yograj Thakal alias Regal has given her additional courage to wage a battle against injustice. Organizing a press meet at the capital today, Sherpa said that the Supreme Court had served justice, although she had to face fear, threat and temptation. Sherpa said that she had received support from all quarters during her battle for justice. Bharti expressed confidence that the court will serve justice to all the women who have been victimized. The president, on the recommendation of the government, had administered pardon to Regal, who had been serving jail term after being convicted of killing Chetan Manandhar of Nepalganj. The pardon was provided on the occasion of the Constitution Day on 20th of September earlier this year. Chetan's former wife, Bharati, had filed a writ against the presidential pardon granted to Regal at the Supreme Court. Chairperson of Janata Party, C.K. Raut, has expressed grievances, saying that the issues raised by lawmakers in the parliament are not prioritized. Speaking during a program organized in Kathmandu on the occasion of the ongoing festivities earlier today, Raut said that the issues raised by lawmakers are ignored regardless of parliamentary provision. He blamed that the issues that only concern senior leaders are addressed at the parliament. Raut said that Janata Party had managed to achieve the status of a national party in the very first election the party contested, which according to Raut gave room to feel optimistic to lead the government in the next general elections. The Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal, CAN, has suspended the license of 2 pilots who were involved in a brawl at the Ramechhap airport. CAN has also suspended the head of Ramechhap airport, Ashok Thapa. CAN joint spokesperson Gyanendra Bhul said that the license of 2 pilots of Tara Air, Senior Captain Santosh Shah and Captain Sanjeev Shrestha, have been suspended following a spat between them at the Ramechhap airport earlier today. CAN has said that investigation on the incident is underway and that action will be taken against those found guilty. Joint spokesperson Bhul added that a decision will be made regarding whether to scrap their license or take action against them as per the regulation after the investigation. Ramechhap Airport Chief Ashok Thapa had said that the brawl occurred between Captain Shah, who had operated the flight from Lukla to Ramechhap, and Captain Shrestha, who was scheduled to operate the same flight back to Lukla. Captain Shah had sustained injuries in his hand during the incident. The incident involving the 2 captains had occurred at around 8 a.m. earlier today at the apron of the Ramechhap airport. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: why has the number of students increased in the law stream? Your options are A, trying to promote self-employment, B, concern towards law, and C, copycats. Voting is on. Tap any AWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Almost 5 years have gone by since foundation was laid for the building for Ram Raja Prasad Singh Academy of Health Sciences in Rajbiraj of Saptari. However, with political ploys in play, construction works of the academy have yet to begin, which has outraged the local residents. Erstwhile Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli had laid the foundation stone of the Academy of Health Sciences located at Rajbiraj Municipality, Ward number 10, Birol, virtually 2 years ago. After the local residents provided 62 bighas of land, the Academy was provided around 105 million rupees for detailed project report, DPR and other works in the Nepali fiscal year 2078-79. Boundaries were set up at the construction site at an investment of 7.2 million rupees, while an agreement of 21.1 million was reached for the DPR. Despite preparation of the DPR last year, lack of funds for payment for services has added uncertainty. With the direct impact of political changes and Janata Samajwadi Party and Janata Party both in the federal and provincial governments, the local residents have demanded for proceeding with the construction works. Despite the formation of a committee for preparation of infrastructures by the government, it does not have officials and required human resources. Vehicle purchased at 5.4 million rupees has also been returned to the ministry. With demand of taking the construction works of the academy forward, the local residents have begun a relay protest. Works of the academy, which has an estimated investment of 11.98 billion rupees, was expected to conclude within 5 years. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, around 10 million people, including the residents of 11 districts and Madhya province, would be able to receive treatment with the operation of the academy. Time now for international update. Israel's military says its forces have encircled the Hamas stronghold of Gaza City as it continues its assault on the Gaza Strip. The Israeli Defense Forces said soldiers were engaged in close quarters combat with Hamas fighters, staging hit-and-run attacks from tunnels. The Hamas-run Health Ministry says over 9,000 Palestinians have been killed. Yesterday, the UN Relief and Works Agency said 4 of its schools being used as shelters had been damaged in less than 24 hours. At least 20 people were reportedly killed at a school in the Jabalia refugee camp, while a child was reportedly killed at a school turned shelter in the beach refugee camp. A number of foreign nationals were able to leave Gaza after the Rafah crossing with Egypt opened for a second day. U.S. President Joe Biden says more than 70 Americans were among them. But medical aid organization Doctors Without Borders say that more than 20,000 wounded people remain trapped in the territory. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the War Cabinet in Tel Aviv today. The United States top diplomat arrived in Tel Aviv on Friday to push for humanitarian pauses in the Gaza war after Israel said its troops had surrounded the Palestinian enclave's biggest city, the focus of its drive to wipe out Hamas. On his second trip to Israel in a month, Blinken is due to discuss with Netanyahu concrete steps to minimize harm to civilians in Gaza, where food, fuel, water and medicine are running out, buildings have been flattened, and thousands of people have fled homes to escape relentless bombings. The White House said any pauses in fighting should be temporary and localized. It has dismissed calls from Arab and several other nations for a full ceasefire in the war, now in its 28th day. Mourners held a funeral today for Palestine TV journalist Mohammed Abu Hattab, who was killed along with his family in an Israeli airstrike in Khan Yunis, southern Gaza on Thursday. A video distributed by Palestine TV showed the moment when one of their journalists found out about Hattab's passing while reporting live on air outside a hospital. As of October 27, the Committee to Protect Journalists said that at least 27 journalists have been killed since the war began, mostly in Gaza, but also in Israel and southern Lebanon. Thousands of cross-border Gazan workers and laborers in Israel and the occupied West Bank were sent back to Gaza today. Some of the Gazan workers returned through the Kerem Shalom crossing east of the Rafah border crossing between the besieged Gaza Strip and Egypt. The office of Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said last night that the workers from Gaza who were in Israel on the day of the outbreak of the war would be returned to Gaza. Workers crossing into the Palestinian enclave said they have been detained and ill-treated by Israeli authorities after the October 7 Hamas attack on southern Israel. Some still had plastic stickers carrying numbers around their legs. Those from areas in northern Gaza would have to stay in the south after Israeli forces have completed cutting off roads late on Thursday, according to Palestinian officials. Toxic haze blanketed New Delhi this week, raising fears of another public health emergency in the Indian capital, as government agencies warned that pollution levels could worsen over the next few days, despite efforts to reduce them. Air quality index stood at 415 on a scale of 500 in the capital's Anand Vihar area yesterday, indicating severe levels of pollution that can affect healthy people and those with existing ailments. AQI between 0 to 50 is considered healthy. The worsening air quality has cast a shadow over the Cricket World Cup as fans flock to stadiums across Indian cities. AQI in Mumbai hovered around the 200 mark ahead of yesterday's match between India and Sri Lanka. The city is expected to welcome large crowds as it hosts the semi-final of the tournament on November 15. India's cricket board, BCCI, this week announced a ban on firework displays during the remaining matches of the tournament as a measure to combat pollution. Players have expressed concern about the toxic air, with England's Ben Stokes being forced to use an inhaler during a game and India's Rohit Sharma using change for future generations. The dip in air quality in the region during the winter months is often accompanied by a spike in respiratory illnesses, spurring schools and factory closings. The New Delhi government has announced a ban on the entry of diesel buses and said construction activities will be halted if the situation persists. With AQI levels above 400, New Delhi and Pakistan's Lahore topped a real-time list of the world's most polluted cities compiled by Swiss group IQ Air yesterday. India's Mumbai also features among the world's 15 most polluted cities. Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a law revoking the ratification of the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, CTBT. The CTBT was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1996 and opened for signature on September 24 of the same year. Russia ratified the treaty in 2000, while the United States has not yet ratified it. A document on the website of the President of Russia yesterday said, of all the states that have not ratified the CTBT, the United States has taken the most destructive approach for many years, declaring that Congress would not support its ratification. The document said the U.S. move created an imbalance between Russia and the United States regarding the scope of obligations under the treaty, which is unacceptable in the current international situation. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov has previously stated that withdrawing from the CTBT does not signify Russia's intention to conduct a nuclear test. The Russian Federation Council approved the bill to withdraw from the CTBT on October 25, following approval from the State Duma. Before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. Nepal rewrites cricketing history as they qualify for the T20 World Cup 2024. Nepal and Oman to contest the T20 World Cup Asia region qualifier final on Sunday. A day after the Supreme Court revokes presidential pardon on Regal, Bharti Sherpa says the top court verdict has given her additional courage to wage a battle against injustice. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken lands in Tel Aviv to push for humanitarian pauses in the Gaza. Calls on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the war cabinet. And Afghanistan dominate the match against Netherlands in today's World Cup encounter. 4 of the Netherlands batters get run out as the Dutch side bowled out for 179 runs. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.